Hi friends, so today I'm back with this Chlamydia case study, which is another important bacteria around which the questions can come. So first of all, we'll see the case. The case is this: a 19-year-old woman presents with the evaluation of pelvic pain, and pain have progressively worsened over the past week. Okay, she has also been having some burning with urination and a vaginal discharge, and she is sexually active and have 4 lifetime partners up till, take OCPs and occasionally uses condoms. On examination, she appears in no acute distress and does not have a fever and all. Her abdomen is soft with moderate lower abdominal tenderness. On pelvic examination, she is noted to have a yellow cervical discharge. See the discharge, yellow. Significant cervical motion tenderness is also present. No uterine or adnexal masses are palpated. Okay, but mild tenderness is noted. A gram stain of the discharge is done. What it deserves of, what it reveals of, that is multiple neutrophils. A direct DNA probe test is done and it comes back positive for what? So no points in guessing. That is Chlamydia trachomatis, this particular organism which we are talking about. Okay. So Chlamydia trachomatis, it's a gram-negative bacteria. Not a typical gram-negative bacteria because it does not have those peptidoglycan and muramic acid and all, and it behaves somewhat like a bacteria. Okay, so basically from this particular history, this is a basically history of genital chlamydiasis, and it does not have progress to the PID and all that stuff, but yes, it is going towards that pelvic inflammatory disease later on. Okay, but overall this particular history is there of the question, and it suggests definitely the diagnosis of chlamydia. Okay, so besides this, for this particular case, if we talk about, remember few things about chlamydial diseases. It affects the woman 5 times more often. This particular type of case now, it suggests it affects 5 times more women than the men. Okay, and interesting thing you see in the second one, many of those infected with gonorrheal diseases, they're also infected with chlamydia. Okay, so that's why what we are saying nowadays, that if you're treating up the gonorrheal cases of with ceftriaxone and all that, you should give azithromycin also for the chlamydia and all. Okay, as both organisms, they affect up the columnar epithelial cells of the mucous membranes. Important. Okay, so they can coexist, and mostly they do. The chlamydial diseases usually affects those of the lower socioeconomic status. Okay, and the children, they are the main reservoir of it, and they transmit the disease by what? Hand to hand transfer. That's why the trachoma and all that things, they are very oftenly found in these particular children and all. Okay, so these all things are there. Besides this, I would like to tell you that I would like to show you that particular life cycle of the chlamydia which is being given in the Harrison. So that particular thing is what, that the first thing is the uptake of chlamydial EBs. What is EBs, guys? EBs is elementary body. Okay, EB stands for what? It stands for elementary body. Okay, and remember from this elementary body only, E for E, that is extracellular. Okay, as you can see in the picture also, that this particular fellow is extracellular, and this is the infectious form because it will affect the cell. The elementary body of the chlamydia will affect the cell. Then the inclusions will happen up. Then inside the cell, you got to see something RBs. And what is RB? RB is reticulate. Okay, so remember like this, the reticulate body is R for R, that is replicating. So this particular one is replicating, and there is a continuous change of elementary body to the reticulate body to the elementary body, and this is what is happening in this particular life cycle also, that firstly the EBs affect up, then they change into RBs, and then what happens up, there is a conversion and there is a release of these EBs, elementary bodies, out of the cell. Okay, so basically I want to say the infectious part is elementary body, that is the extracellular, E for E. Reticulate part is replicating, inside the cell it replicates, and there is a cycle in between them. Okay, this is also important to remember. This can also come as a question, in fact. And this type of picture they can show you, and they can ask up regarding the, obviously they will give some hint and all, and this is obviously within the cell. So which particular body, guys? So this is the reticulate one. Okay, so this also I want to tell you. Then I will just give you a brief about the various infections caused by this Chlamydia trachomatis. And the Chlamydia trachomatis, as you know, that ABBAC, ABBAC, this particular one leads to trachoma, okay, for which you do the safe strategy and all that stuff also. Then you have D2K, and this D2K leads to what? It leads to inclusion conjunctivitis. Okay, this particular one leads to what? Inclusion conjunctivitis. Infantile pneumonia. Okay, this particular one leads to what? Infantile pneumonia. And genital chlamydiasis. And genital chlamydiasis. These all are done by this D2K. Okay, and interestingly, I find a number of times that the person, they miss out on this L1, L2, L3. They lead to what? LGV, lymphogranuloma venereum. So Chlamydia trachomatis L1, L2, L3 leads to what? Lymphogranuloma venereum. And in this also, if somebody asks which is more, L2 more than L1. So this particular thing is regarding the Chlamydia trachomatis various serotypes. Other than that, you have Chlamydia psittacosis one, that is Chlamydia psittaci, that leads to psittacosis, and one is Chlamydia pneumoniae, which leads to adult type of pneumonia. Okay, so those things are also there. Now, see this particular thing. These are the other presentations which can be this one of the scenario which I have shown you. Okay, that particular female. Then the question can be towards the men also. The men with epididymitis, and the history might be fever, unilateral scrotal swelling, and the pain. Fine. And obviously, we have seen in that question that yellow purulent discharge was present in that particular lady. Okay, and PID, that particular things, if they keep on happening recurrently, it will definitely land up with what? PID. And when the infection spreads to the uterus, fallopian tubes, and ovaries, that is termed as PID. Okay, and what are the features of it? Lower abdominal pain, dyspareunia, vaginal discharge, uterine bleeding, nausea, vomiting, and fear. Okay, obviously these are our common ones which happens in PID. Then important sign to remember here, cervical motion tenderness can also happen, which is also termed as what? Chandelier sign. Okay, so somebody can ask you the Chandelier sign is appreciated when? It can be appreciated in this particular chlamydial infection, which leads to this PID and all that stuff. And recurrent PID obviously will scar up the fallopian tubes, and it leads to what? Infertility and ectopic pregnancy also. So all these things are very much linked. You already know it. Okay. Now, another version of the question can be that they can give up a history of a infant conjunctiva having a yellowish discharge and swelling of the eyelid. So this yellow discharge you need to remember within the 2 weeks after birth. So this is what? So this is conjunctivitis. Fine. We have told up that these all things, they happen by this particular chlamydial trachomatis stuff. Now, important to remember is presence of this basophilic intracytoplasmic inclusion body from the conjunctiva, which is diagnostic of this particular infection. Fine. And remember, if somebody asks you that in trachoma, which type of inclusion body is seen, that is the HP bodies. So obviously that is not Henderson-Peterson, that is the Halbert-Provozek bodies. Okay, and in fact, if you got out to the long name of it, the Halbert-Stettler-Provozek bodies. So that particular thing also you need to remember. Fine. And neonatal pneumonia we have talked about, that is also one of the presentations of this Chlamydia trachomatis infection. Okay. Now, atypical pneumonia. We have talked about that Chlamydia pneumonia leads to this Chlamydophila pneumonia or Chlamydia pneumonia. That is which type of pneumonia basically? Atypical pneumonia. So a question can come in this form also. And here only I will tell you that this is also termed as what? Twar strain. This is also termed as what? Twar strain. We call it as Twar strain. And it presents without fever, headache, and dry cough. Now, additionally to this, the psittacosis we have talked about, that is another atypical pneumonia caused by this, that is Chlamydia psittaci. And the organism is acquired by inhalation of fecal material from the infected bird. And let me tell you, the infected bird is mostly what? Parrot. Okay. So those particular fellows who have this particular parrot in their homes, and from morning to evening they keep on doing what? Mittu with the parrot, they are at a high risk of developing this psittacosis. So this is bird pneumonia basically. Okay, but basically it is atypical one. Now, the question can come in this form also. There is a probable question which I like to tell you. A 29-year-old bird collector present to the local clinic with the flu-like symptoms. Okay, so the biggest hint of the question is bird doesn't look ill, slight fever, headache, and dry, hacking cough. He denies the production of sputum. Okay, no crackles heard on auscultation. Radiograph shows small streaks of infiltrate, and it is determined that he has a pneumonia. Which pneumonia? So this is psittacosis basically, bird pneumonia, and the biggest hint is in the first line. So this is what is the use of this particular case like studies, that you will have multiple options to get after and have the answer. Okay, so which is the most likely organism? Chlamydia psittaci for this. No points in guessing. Now, if we talk about the treatments of various ones, I've already told you the adult inclusion conjunctivitis and uncomplicated genital infections. For both of them, you use what? Azithromycin. That is 1 gram single oral dose, or doxy also you can use 100 milligram BD for 7 days. Now remember one thing. I have just told you in the starting that the most of the infections of chlamydia, they coexist with what? Gono. Okay. So for them, what you do? Azithro along with what? Ceftriaxone. Because the drug of choice for that thing is ceftriaxone. So this also you need to remember. Then regarding the psittacosis, that is bird pneumonia, just the question which have gone. Tetracycline is drug of choice as per the Harrison. 250 milligram 4 times a day, QID. And for this Tward strain chlamydia pneumonia, which type of pneumonia, guys? This is atypical pneumonia. Erythromycin or tetracycline 2 gram per day for 10 to 14 days. That is being given up for the chlamydia pneumonia. For that, macrolides, for this tetracycline, and for this azithro. And if it is a combined infection, along with ceftriaxone or doxy. Okay. And for the lymphogranuloma venereum and all, you have the drug of choice doxy, which is also being asked. Okay. So these all things are there regarding the chlamydia, which you need to remember. And I suppose a lot of confusions of yours might be cleared off by this particular case study. Regarding the NGU, and what is NGU? Non-gonococcal urethritis. The most common cause everybody knows is Chlamydia trachomatis only of it. Okay. The second one is Uroplasma urolyticum. Okay. And the third important cause of this particular one is from the Mycoplasma family. That is Mycoplasma genitalium. Okay. Mycoplasma genitalium and hominis. These two fellows are there, which are these infects are the third most important causes of NGU, which you need to remember. The first one is trachomatis, second one is urolyticum, and third one is Mycoplasma genitalium or hominis. Fine. And the reactive arthritis happens to be with this also. Okay, and that particular Reiter syndrome, remember na? And that mnemonic is there: cup, conjunctivitis, urethritis, psoriatic arthritis. So this is what is termed as what? Reiter syndrome. So that is itself an important question. The Reiter syndrome characteristic triad is what? So answer is cup. And that also associates with chlamydia. Okay. So conjunctivitis, urethritis and psoriatic arthritis. These all are there regarding the chlamydia. In and around this only the questions will come. And mostly this particular topic we have ended up with most of the case scenarios also I've talked about. In the female, that particular scenario, that is sexual one. Then in the males, it can also with epididymitis. Okay. In the bird handlers, psittacosis. Adult pneumonia also happens by this. So variety of infections is done by chlamydia, and most of these infections of Chlamydia trachomatis, they are more common in whom? Females as compared to males, as per the genital one and all. Okay. Along with that, conjunctivitis, that is a newborn can also have, and all that stuff. So you need to remember regarding all of them. Thank you so much.